Welcome back, folks, to the Via Pinstriping page. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to do another simple pinstriping design, and I'm going to be using the Wizard Black Widow from MAC, size 00, double aught, I've heard it called. That is the Wizard's model with the nice red ferrule and it's almost like a charcoal handle. And we're going to be using Alpha Enamel's Raspberry Sherbet. I am reducing the paint with mineral spirits, and we're going to do another simple pinstriping design. So let's get after it. So I have a grid drawn here. So with these designs, with all symmetrical designs, or with any design really, you want to start in the middle and work your way out. I'd say especially with the symmetrical designs. Asymmetrical, I guess that can work out any which way. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on this side, and we're going to create a slight arch. Down and back up. Making sure you can see that. And these are going to be our connection points for some of this design. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to try to stop roughly down here. This is going to be a sort of a long design. So this is going to have a slight curve to it. It's not going to touch the center. Well, we're going to get close to it to get a nice thin feel for the design. Now I'm using my left hand to stabilize my right hand. I'm just kind of just holding it. I've seen people hold their wrist. I've seen people just put their finger here. It kind of keeps you from moving around. So when folks tell you, oh, I don't have a steady hand for that, most of pinstripers' hands aren't steady. We just learn how to steady our hands. So that's the first line. The second line is going to be on this side, and we're going to try to mirror image that. We're going to start here and try to not go past the connection point. We're going to go inward, down, and a slight arch going out. Now my paint started to run dry a little bit there, so what I'm going to do is, right here, I'm going to go over that spot again. Just going to start a little bit further up. When you do touch-ups like this in the middle of a line, you really don't want your paint to be too reduced. You'd rather it be drier because you're just touching the edge of the line just to make sure it's the same thickness. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create, now this was a downward arch, we're going to create another downward arch. All right, this one's going to start right here. This one's going to be a little bit more poignant, if that's the correct word, a little bit more enhanced, a little bit more curved, right? Not my best curve, but we're going to continue. The idea is for you to have a design to work off of. Admittedly, I generally don't use this brush. I do enjoy my Kafkas because this is a fully fully squirrel hair, and the Kafkas are a mixed hair brush, and it's just what I prefer. This is an awesome brush. MAC makes amazing brushes. It's all preference, folks. Keep that in mind. What I use is not going to be what you're going to like. You're going to like your own stuff. All right, now we're going to connect this, and we're going to go downward. And we're going to slowly connect into that, creating that nice arrow shape. You might like the Kafkas. I don't know. It really is personal preference. I know a lot of folks that like the virus. I can't hardly use the virus at all. I just have a hard time with the shorter hairs and the synthetic, fully synthetic hairs. All right, so there's part of our design. Now, I'm paleting the brush in between. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a portion of this that's going to go down further. So what I'm going to do is, instead of creating an arch, I'm going to create just a straight line from here to here, and we're going to have that connect to the middle. So no arch, just straight line to the middle of my grid, as straight as you can. Connecting here, straight line to the middle of my grid. Feel free to arch it if you'd like, but it gives you a chance to kind of try them straight lines a little bit, even though they're not necessarily the straight lines you would do on the side of a car. That's a completely different technique, which I have not mastered. All right, now we're going to create some weight here in the center of the design by creating an element kind of all by itself, but it will still sort of tie in, hopefully. So this is going to go outward, and this is going to give it, again, some weight in the middle, because it's sort of missing something here, right? So this is going to be an arch that starts here and slightly arches and goes across to the other part of the grid. So here we go. Touch down, slight arch, trying to keep the same shape, same distance, because you're going to be connecting things off of this, right? So now we're going to start here, and we're going to connect down to here. So start here, slight arch, connecting right back in there. Fix my connection, it's a little rough, right? We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to start right here and slight arch, connecting down. All right, just making sure I'm still filming. Make sure them connections are nice. That is one of the nice things with using scroller brushes for these designs. It's really easy to make nice connections because they're kind of blunt, and you're only really using just a very small amount of the brush, where with the sword, you're usually almost halfway down to create the thickness of that line. You really gotta use a decent amount of that brush and the brush hairs to create the thickness of the line that you want. It's rare that you're using the very tip, and with these you use the very tip of the brush. So let us continue. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create an arch that goes here, down to here. And this is going to be a little bit of a challenging move, but we're going to go like that, out and inward, right? So as you could tell, this curve doesn't really start turning hard until it gets to about right there. So it's sort of pear-shaped, right? So we're going to go here. Keep in mind how far out your negative space is there, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start here, try to create that same negative space, go out about the same, and start that turn right there. Boom, right? Now, that's already kind of given us some weight. So what I'm going to give you all is a fairly decent challenge here. And it's a challenge for myself. But it's also a reason why I like these scroll brushes, is because it makes it easier for me to create these moves. So I'm going to create a circle that comes out, goes around, and comes back in. And sort of ties that section together. So here we go. Let's see if we can give it a shot. Let's see if I can do it without sticking my head in the camera. So I'm going to start right here. Right. out, around, try to match this side. And there you have it. And that's it, folks. There's little things you can do to sort of spruce this up. You can put a couple of, to make it more complete looking, you can put a couple of small parallel lines in here. These are real nice. It kind of buttons up the design a little bit, right? You can do another set maybe up here to kind of match the bottom. All right. You could put a small teardrop shape or maybe an inverted teardrop shape in here. So light and then pushing down as I go. Right? So little things that you can do to add to it if you'd like. You can have this go further out, further up, but that's basically the design. Hopefully that helps. I currently don't have a lot of my pinstriping gear here. We just went through the Hurricane Ian. We were very fortunate enough that it really did not affect the house too much, but I was staying over at my mother's house to make sure she was all right, and I ended up leaving all my stuff there. I was painting all the way until the lights went out, so you could put that down somewhere as something I was doing right as Hurricane Ian was right on our doorstep, and the lights went out, and I said, all right, I got to put this stuff up. So it's been down there ever since. So hopefully you dig that. Hopefully it helps. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments section, and I hope you have an awesome, awesome weekend, awesome day, awesome year, and thank you all very much. All right, bye-bye.